Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new episode of Recruiting Insider Live with Josh Barr. I'm B.J. Koubaroulis, and of course, we have Josh Barr, recruiting insider and expert blogger at allmetsports.com, a product of the Washington Post. Before we get rolling, got some big recruiting news this week. If you want to see your highlights run on this recruiting show, you can just tweet them to me. Tweet me a link. Tweet me a YouTube link. We'll get your highlights run here at Recruiting Insider Live.
B.J. Koob.
At B.J. Koob, that's right. Or at Josh Barr. All right, speaking of Josh Barr, Josh, some big recruiting news coming out of D.C. this week on the basketball side of things. A very deep talent pool of hoops in this area. Nate Britt out of Gonzaga. Roy Williams rolls into town, gives them the UNC offer, and now things should really start to get rolling for Nate.
Yeah, Nate Britt's going to be a very high-profile guy. He's only a junior. He's been a well-known player for a long time now. You know, he had Arizona over summer. He went out and visited Sean Miller. The Brits really like their trip out there. He's got Maryland. He's got Georgetown. Duke is interested. They haven't pulled the trigger yet. North Carolina is the latest one. You know, Roy Williams came up not once, comes up twice to see Nate Britt and his Gonzaga work out at 6:30 in the morning, just like you used to do right before school, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and he gets this offer. The thing about Nate is, you know, I don't see him making a decision anytime soon. Yeah, he's going to go. I think that before his senior year you'll see it, but I think, you know, this could play out through all of next summer. He's got so many places that want him, and I think the question will be, does he want to go away or does he want to stay close to home? I think there's a big pull. He's got a very close family. You know, I think they certainly would like him to stay closer to home, although, you know, I don't think it's out of the question that he goes too far. I think they're really keeping an eye to see what happens at Maryland and Georgetown this year. You know, what happens with Mark Turgeon's first year? Obviously, I don't think it lines up to be a very good year, but, you know, he's going to be watching Mark Turgeon carefully to see, hey, is this the guy I want to go play for the next 3-4 years? You know, he's going to be watching Georgetown to see what happens there. Georgetown, I think, is going to be a little bit of turnover this year. I think he's going to keep an eye on those two carefully. Certainly, North Carolina is a place he's going to check out. I think Duke, if Duke offers, I think you'll see him watch them very carefully also. Okay.
What are the things that make Nate Britt such an attractive recruit and like a Roy Williams to come down here and see him twice and give him the offer?
He's a leader on the court. He's very talented. He can score. He doesn't mind playing a secondary role and being a distributor also. He plays with a lot of poise. You watch him play, and he's very calm and cool and knows how to get the ball to the right guys in the right situations. He's a little bit long. He's got long arms. You know, he's got a good shot. I think he does everything pretty well. And he's just got that intangible for being a leader. I think that makes a huge difference.
All right, one of the top recruits nationally, Nate Britt, gets an offer from North Carolina. You can read more about that on Josh Barr's Recruiting Insider blog at allmetsports.com. You can also check out more video about Nate at allmetsports.com. All right, switching back to football, being that it's fall, E.J. Levenberry has had quite a journey through different schools within the DMV. Now finds a home at Hilton. He's one of the top linebackers in the area. Tell us a little bit about E.J.
Well, E.J. went to DeMatha as a freshman. He was on the varsity. Obviously, he's got to be pretty good to be on the varsity as a freshman at DeMatha. Starts as a sophomore, has a pretty good year. Then he transfers back to his home school, which is Annandale, for the end of his sophomore year. And for this year, transferred down to Hilton, down in Woodbridge. And he's having a huge year playing linebacker at Hilton. He's making plays, you know, pretty much every week, forcing fumbles. I think he has 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns this season. Hilton's undefeated. He's having a big year. He's been very highly recruited by a lot of schools outside the area. Maryland and Virginia Tech have not been as hot on him, but certainly he's been on unofficial trips to Florida, Florida State, Oklahoma, a lot of really big places that are very interested in him.
Okay, you can also check out and hear from EJ in a video recruiting spotlight at allmetsports.com and read more about EJ on Josh Barr's Recruiting Insider. All right, got some great clips of Colton Kometz off YouTube. Now remember, if you want to see your highlights here on this show, you can just YouTube me and send me a link on Twitter. I saw Colton Kometz's highlight reel. Josh, you're real high on this guy. Defensive end out of Urbana, getting a lot of offers.
He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He had a huge year last year as Urbana went undefeated and won the Maryland 4A title. He's doing it again this year. He puts up big numbers every week. A lot of tackles, a lot of sacks, forced fumbles, tackles for loss. And the thing that colleges like about him is he's going to get bigger. You can see he's got the frame to put on weight. Temple has been in on him. Kent State, Pitt, Maryland, East Carolina have been inquiring recently about him. I'm kind of curious where he's going to end up going. He's kind of pushed the recruiting process a little bit back later in the year than most guys who are, I mean, you see so many guys committing earlier and earlier nowadays. He's going later, but he's certainly having a big year.
All right. Josh Barr is also having a big year for AllMedSports.com as our recruiting insider. You can check out his blog at AllMedSports.com, and you can also send us your highlights on YouTube. Just tweet them to me at B.J. Koob. He's at Josh Barr, and that does it for an all-new episode of Recruiting Insider Live at AllMedSports.com.